Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com. It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
And welcome, everybody, on this Sunday morning. So this morning on Meet the Press on NBC News propagandist Kristen Welker pressed President Trump on several things, including the California elections, which he said are crooked. She says, do you have any evidence of that? He says, all I have to do is look. So again, the whole, do you have evidence that there's anything going on in California or rancid or perhaps criminal? And Trump is like, just look at what's going on there, where Republicans lead big, and now suddenly they'll probably not even be in the general. Anyway, at the end, he walked off this particular interview. We don't have the video yet, but at the same time, Trump had enough. And you know what? If you're going to deal with somebody who's going to question you dishonestly, why bother? Why bother with these people? Big night in New York, meanwhile, and it's not Red Sox Yankees. It is Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the world's most famous arena. Finally, a big game here. It's been a while. Let's see. Rangers haven't won a cup since 94. They went to the finals, I believe, in 2014. Got beat by the Kings in 5. All right, so you can say that was the last big game at Madison Square Garden. We're talking 12 years ago. The Knicks obviously haven't been to the finals since 99 against the same San Antonio Spurs. Spurs won that in 5. 5th game on the floor at Madison Square Garden. I mean, great team. I mean, talking Duncan, talking Robinson. Knicks didn't have Ewing for that particular series. Miracle they even got there. So that was kind of a moral victory, so to speak. No one really expected them to win. Now, if the Knicks don't win this city may go into a depression because, I mean, Knicks fandom is everywhere for many, many years. You're up 2-0, which means the Spurs have to win 4 of the next 5 games in order to win this series. And again, the NBA, a little different than all the other sports where they go 2-3-2. 2 games at home for the team with the higher seed. In this case, the Spurs, better record. 3 now at Madison Square Garden. Take 2 of those 3 and they'll win their first NBA championship in 53 years. 1973. Get all the way back to Nixon. All right. That means you have lived through Carter. You have lived through Reagan, 2 terms. George H.W. Bush. Clinton, 2 terms. George W. Bush, 2 terms. Barack Obama, 2 terms. President Trump, President Biden, auto pen, and then President Trump again. You went through all those things. If you're above 53 years old, the last time you saw the New York Knickerbockers win a championship. And, you know, I'm on this station. There are tapes, me saying Spurs in 7. Whoops. After game 1, I did, revisit that pick. And I then from there said Knicks in 4. Because once you lose a game the way the Spurs did in game 1, where they had a nice lead, Brunson was banged up. Brunson comes back out of the locker room, scores 30 points, and the Knicks win comfortably by 10. I'm like, all right, the Spurs, too young, a lot of talent, but hard to recover from that. I just, not to turn this into WFAN or anything, but 1995, Orlando Magic and the Houston Rockets, and they had game 1 won. Nick Anderson missed 2 free throws that would have clinched the game. They never recovered. And I saw game 1 in this series as a never recovered moment for the San Antonio Spurs. And sure enough, they were there. They had arguably the best player in the league, Wemby, young kid, 22, Frenchman, 20-footer. He makes those like you make a layup with the basket at 6 feet. Okay. I mean, he doesn't miss those, and he did. And I think this kid just is rattled now at this point. In shock, as Charles Barkley said during the coverage over on ABC. Now they're going to go to the Garden. It's going to be such a frenzy, such an animal house. The only thing that could hold the Knicks back is that they get caught too much up in the moment, or they're nervous because they want to please their fans and win on their home court. I don't see that happening. This is a mentally tough team. They will feed off the energy. This thing is over by Tuesday night. That's the prediction here. Meanwhile, President Trump will be at the game tonight. And, he was asked, because he gets these stupid questions from reporters, like, the tickets are really expensive. And how does the average person afford it? Well, I'm sorry. It's the NBA Finals. The team hasn't been there since 1999, 27 years. Supply and demand, capitalism. It's how it works. There isn't a big supply, about 19,000 and change seats, and the demand is overwhelming, therefore driving up the price. It's how it works. What would you have the Knicks do? Say, you know what? We're going to make sure that 5,000 seats are $10 each, so the average person can come in and see the game. No, sorry. And by the way, TVs are so inexpensive at this point. I was at Walmart yesterday, and I saw a 55-inch TV for something like $300. It could have been less, too, as a matter of fact. For nothing. 55 inches. Big. You get a 75-inch for less than $500. I mean, this is insane. And the quality and the HDMI and all that, and the replay. I'd rather watch it on TV than deal with all that. I know it's good to be in the park. I get it. I was at Devils Game 7, 2003. That was awesome, and I'll always be like, I'm glad I was there. But the way the technology is now, you feel like you're at the game. So here's Trump being asked, like, the tickets are so high. Basically, what are you going to do about it, please? Cut number 1, go.
They can watch it on television. It's sort of semi-free to watch it on television, but that's the way life goes. You have some, and now if the team wasn't a big success, you could go very easily. So, you can do that too, but that's the way life is. They've had great success. And don't forget, they've suffered also losses, and they've suffered during the bad time. Now they have a good time. They have a team that's amazing. I don't think they've lost a playoff game, right? Very unusual.
Yeah, they haven't lost lately. That's certainly for sure. The team, ironically, has given them the biggest run to this point for the Atlanta Hawks, who are actually up 2-1 in that series. Had a game 6 at home to extend to game 7, and were down by 52 points in the first half. Talking about a team that just tanked it, just gave in, just like the Sixers did, just like the Cavs did. Do I think the Spurs are going to do that? No, it's an NBA final, and there's too much talent over there to allow it to happen. But at the same time, the line tonight for you degenerates out there, Knicks by 2.5. That is a gift. That is an absolute gift. That's all I'm saying. Do with what you will that information accordingly. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith, who touts himself as the biggest Knicks fan anywhere in the world. There is no contest. Spike Lee, step aside. Stephen A. basically feels he's an owner of this team. And I play Stephen A. on this show a lot, and I get it completely and totally, as far as him making common sense arguments, and I appreciate that. But here, this is entitlement. I don't know quite what this is, but who the hell are you to tell the President of the United States, as he does in his clip, don't come to the game? Again, you're a guy on ESPN. You have no ownership in the team. And you're going to tell Donald Trump, who has been courtside, there are pictures everywhere, video everywhere, for the Knicks going all the way back to the wretched 80s, until Ewing got there and started to straighten the ship. But he's been there far more games probably than you have, Stephen A. Smith. So shut the hell up when you tell President Trump not to come to the game. But here it is anyway. Cut number 6, go.
He's coming to game 3 of the finals, and I don't want him there. He's coming to game 4 of the NBA finals, and I don't want him there.
What are you going to do about it?
And it has nothing to do with politics, policy, or anything like that. It has everything to do with him disrupting and contributing at the same time to the chaos that's going to be existing at Madison Square Garden.
I'm sorry I played that because everybody is now dumber for having to listen to that. It's going to contribute to the chaos at Madison Square Garden. It's got to be chaos. And maybe with the president there, that could be a good thing. President Trump is so smart in these situations, right? I'm not being sycophantic in any way, shape, or form. I'm giving you an objective analysis. He is the first president ever to go to a Super Bowl. You're telling me that Gipper, Ronald Reagan, couldn't go to one Super Bowl? You're telling me that Barack Obama, big Bears fan, couldn't go to one Super Bowl? You're telling me that George W. Bush owned a sports team, granted, Texas Rangers still. These are layups. If you are a president, go to a Super Bowl, get that airtime, right? Enjoy the perks, by the way. Great to go to a Super Bowl. But those clips are played over and over again. And it's just, yay, America, right? He's been to the Daytona 500. He's having literally, I mean, you see the White House these days, looks like Disney almost in a good way, where they have a whole UFC stadium basically built on the South Lawn, which is big. And he's just been to all these different sporting events where it's just like, yes, this makes total sense. Yankee game last year at the invitation of the great Randy Levine, president of the New York Yankees. So him going to the game of a team, by the way, he's been a fan of since basically he was a kid. And Stephen A. Smith saying, you can't come. It's my team, basically. Screw you, dude. How else can I say that? All right. Anyway, let's get to the more serious stuff, shall we? And there is something rancid going on in Los Angeles and in California. This is unbelievable. Actually, it's believable because I think we've seen this movie before. Spencer Pratt had something like a 9-point lead after election night on Nathia Rahman. All right. She finished third. The top two finishers go to the general election. Karen Bass will go. And then Spencer Pratt was not too far behind in second. And then a distant third was this councilman, Rahman. Well, suddenly, all these mail-in ballots are coming in. And look, wow. For whatever reason, the third place finisher who barely campaigned, who Spencer Pratt waxed in a debate, the one debate that they had together, this socialist is getting more mail-in ballots magically than even Karen Bass, who finished first, and more than twice as much as Spencer Pratt. This is incredible. What a miracle. Or is it a miracle? Now, at this point, Rahman is going to catch Pratt and pass him, and it's going to be Rahman and Bass, two Democrats, in the general election for LA mayor. The California machine made sure that Pratt was not going to make that final two. And by the way, we're not going to know the final results for weeks. They may call the results before then, but every vote counted. We're still only at 60-something% counted. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. In Florida, during a presidential election, millions upon millions, far more votes. You know who won Florida on election night by 10 p.m. because that state is run competently. 10 p.m. All of them counted. How about Texas? Same thing. Ohio, same thing. We get those calls pretty easily. California, congressional races, mayor races, gubernatorial races take 5 to 6 weeks. Let me put that in perspective for you. In India, they count 640 million votes for their elections and have the result the next day. But this takes 5 weeks. So then you hear about the rules there. Oh, the rules. You could submit your ballot by mail-in the same day as the election, and it could arrive 7 days later. So in LA, for example, you mail your ballot out on June 2nd. And if it somehow takes 7 days in the same city to arrive, it counts. And then you have all these drop boxes that nobody is monitoring in any way, shape, or form. The harvesting of ballots, it just grinds my gears, as we like to say. And, by the way, in the gubernatorial race, Eric Swalwell, that guy, who had to drop out months ago because of multiple sexual assault allegations. Well, here is Bill Maher on his show, HBO, talking about how Swalwell even got 19,000 votes. Why is he still in the ballot? But that's the way it works in California. Cut number 18, go.
Also, you know who was on the ballot? Eric Swalwell was still on the ballot and got 19,000 votes. Who are these people? People who opened a pic and liked it?
Yeah, it's like The View. Like they'll clap at anything. Swalwell's still on the ballot. Hey, that's great. And he's like, 19,000 people still voted for Eric Swalwell? Are people that dumb in California? He dropped out. What was it? I give up. I'm slowly giving. Actually, you know what? Tommy Lahren on the Big Weekend Show. And I'll be on there again tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, co-hosting with Joey Jones and Rachel Campos Duffy, who is a great person. 9 kids. I don't know how she does. I really don't. Sean Duffy, obviously, is the transportation secretary, also a very good guy. In the end, I just don't. This is what Tommy said. She said, all right, let's just split up the country at this point. Red states, all right, versus blue cities. The blue cities can form their own country. Everywhere else is basically red. And let's see how each country does. Great point. Not a bad idea. I think a lot of people would probably support that, both blue and red, by the way. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. We got so much more, including all this nonsense going on with Graham Platner, the Nazi tattoo guy, in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show.
Almonte's Key Food, proudly serving communities throughout Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island for over 30 years. When you shop Key Food, you'll always find fresh products, great weekly specials, and exceptional personalized service. Visit at any of their Key Food stores at 8235 153rd Avenue, Lindenwood, New York, 935 Rosedale Road, Valley Stream, New York, and 6620 Avenue U, Brooklyn, New York.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
Welcome back, everybody. So, Megyn Kelly, who I always tell Megyn, I'm like, you know what? You're a little too shy on the radio. You got to be a little bit more candid. You got to really share what you feel. But obviously, it's opposite day today. Here is MK talking about how there may be, well, probably, voter fraud in Connecticut, and then goes off in general on how voting is just too convenient for everybody. Like, we're treating people like babies, where just go to a polling place and vote. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Anyway, Megyn says it better than I can. Cut number 7, go.
We saw that here in Connecticut, where there was film of these Democrat operatives literally stuffing mailboxes full of ballots that they'd managed to get their hands on to try to get that in there. Let's shove it in there. And it just undermines the faith in integrity of elections to allow this kind of voting. I don't care how convenient you want to make it.
Wow. Well, she's exactly right, by the way. I find it less convenient to do a mail-in ballot. I got to fill out everything. I got to find an envelope. I got to get a stamp. I got to go to the post office. I got to mail the thing out. How is that any easier than going to a voting center, especially early voting? It's not going to be any line. You walk into the booth, you're out. Unless all these mail-in ballots may not be on the up and up. I think that's a very fair assumption to make. Meanwhile, I'll leave you here with this. When Gavin Newsom was attempted to be recalled, this was in 2021. The same day election results, statewide in California, we knew the results by 8:53 p.m. Pacific time that night. And now this is going to take 5 weeks? Why is that, I wonder? And again, why is the third place finisher suddenly surging? The one person that needs the votes is getting the votes, so that person could catch up to Spencer Pratt, so we could have an all-Democrat final in terms of the general. Listen to this latest batch that just came in, big dump, 23,000 votes for Rahman, 19,000 votes for Bass, 10,000 for Pratt. Oh, so Rahman's now outperforming Bass, who beat her by 16 points on Election Day. That makes total sense, right, people? This is corrupt. This needs to be investigated. This cannot happen again. The SAVE Act has to be passed. We cannot have elections like this. Again, India can count 640 million votes and have you, by breakfast the next day, know who the winner was. California? Nope. Because the game is fixed. This is Joe Concha. This is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Back with happier thoughts, hopefully, in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, if you were in the New York area today, this might be the nicest day of the year. 82, not this 91 nonsense. Sunny, no humidity. I say it once, I say it again. June is the best month for weather outside of maybe late September into mid-October. All right, got that off my chest. Anyway, let's talk about Graham Platner up in Maine. This guy is just one piece of work. Here he is talking about how he's trying to make himself out to be like an oysterman when he really just went to all these private elite schools, rich parents, then went into the military and got a Nazi tattoo upon leaving the military, then pretended for 20 years he didn't know what the Nazi tattoo, which is actually a tattoo of concentration camp guards, was, pretending he didn't know what that tattoo was, even though several ex-girlfriends now have come forward to say that he used to brag about it, knew exactly what it was. Here he is now, however, because he's trying to portray himself as the everyday man that can really relate to Mainers. Well, he's saying that he's basically like, I don't know, Robinson Crusoe, all right, meets Gilligan and the Skipper. Graham Platner, cut 3, go.
My health care gave me freedom. It gave me the freedom to take a risk, to start a business, and to sink my intellect and my physicality into mastering the skills necessary to make a living on the sea.
He didn't make a living on the sea. He worked in a clerical position for a longshoreman. In other words, nowhere near sea. And oh, by the way, that business that he started because healthcare gave him freedom, his parents lent them the money. So, besides that. So again, talked about this in the big weekend show on Fox last night. And again, I'll be on tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern time till 8 p.m. You could look at the Nazi tattoo and be appalled by that. And there are simply most Democrat lawmakers are willing to look past that, despite calling Trump a Nazi and a fascist all these years, warning of, the danger that they, obviously present, even though at last check, Trump does not have a Nazi tattoo and certainly does not act like a fascist, but a democratically elected president. Anyway, put that aside, all right? The Nazi tattoo. The fact that he mocked military members for Purple Heart recipients, as a matter of fact, for getting shot in battle, for sacrificing themselves so they could save their platoon, saying in one case that one Purple Heart recipient, Terry Daniels, the stupid MRFer deserved to die. Okay. Says that women should be more mature when it comes to rape. Okay. Says that women in the military should not be able to report rape. Obviously, all these texts now while he was married, which I don't think is really like a game changer anymore. I think Bill Clinton changed all that. But at the same time, the way he treated these women, physically assaulting them. He locked one in a bedroom for an entire night and wouldn't let her out to the next day. Okay, just saying, that's some weird stuff. This guy shouldn't be a senator. He needs a shrink and anger management. That's certainly for sure. He also supports communism. Also supports the seizing of property, just like your boy Memdani here in New York. Also wants Medicare for all. Also wants to abolish ICE. Also wants to abolish DHS, and also wants to eliminate funding for border security. All right. So if you look at policies, this person is already a maniac. But then you look at the personal stuff as well, like being on a predatory site for children called Kick. Then we have somebody who not only is mentally unstable, but wrong on every issue. And Democrats are still sticking with them because, we got to get back to Senate. So we're willing to sacrifice every little ounce of integrity that we have left to get him over the finish line. And they can never, ever, Democrats can't. All the ones that are supporting this guy can never take what they think is the moral higher ground again. Ever, ever. And if you're going to die on that hill for this freak Platner, all right, this is going to cost him for a very long time, especially a race that Platner's probably not going to win. Because right now, Fabrizio, who is an excellent pollster, all right, a lot of pollsters I think are trash. Fabrizio is excellent. Look at his work during the 2024 election. He has it at 46, Platner 46, Collins. That race was 12 points just a couple weeks ago in Platner's favor. And here's the thing. These things don't reverse themselves. Platner is now defined. He is now defined. And now for the next 5 months, he's going to have to play defense. And that means he's going to go in the wrong direction if he survives at all. But he's got Ro Khanna. Ro's got his back. And here he is. Ro Khanna went to his rally after all these allegations in the New York Times came out. No, by the way, the New York Times piece where you say, oh, wow, the Times did some good journalism. No, they didn't. Trash. You had to go to the 22nd paragraph to see the allegations against Platner by his ex-girlfriend. This is before they slander the person who made the allegations, the ex-girlfriend. because, well, she's a Republican operative. Therefore, she must have a motive. What about all the other women, New York Times, that you didn't put in the piece? Or in the case of the Republican operative who has corroboration from friends and texts. You didn't put that in the piece, did you? Paper record, my ass. Here's Ro Khanna saying that, despite the fact that I have been screaming about the Epstein files and we really need to think of the victims for many, many months when I teamed up with the useless, I should say, idiot, that is Thomas Massie, we should listen to Platner's accusers, and then we should listen to Graham. And this way, if we listen to each other when you assault somebody and get both sides, then we could heal as a country or something. What BS? Cut 8, go.
Of saying that if someone felt hurt by Graham in a past relationship, we can listen to them and we can listen to Graham and we can have conversations as mature Americans, as fellow citizens.
That's like saying, hey, we could listen to Tina Turner and then we could listen to Ike Turner and then maybe we could all heal together. Hearing about how Tina got the crap beaten out of her by Ike, and then maybe we could understand why Ike did it. And then we'll listen to Tina and her gripes as well. And then we could all come together. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. I think since the beginning of the show when we played some other clip that I said it was the dumbest thing we've ever heard. Oh, yeah, Stephen A. Smith saying that Trump shouldn't go to a game 3 and 4 of the finals because that's going to hurt the karma of the team or something. Go figure. Anyway, I always love it when CNN people have to say words that they deem to be uncomfortable on their air. And here's John Fetterman, who doesn't get on CNN very much anymore because he's, not going to say things that probably their audience is going to like very much, or he is going to, only speak the truth. Here's Fetterman, talking about, Platner sending pics to other women. All right. And Cassie Hunt then has to say what Fetterman said, and she's quite uncomfortable in doing it. This is CNN, cut number 12. Go.
Let me follow up on something you said there, because I don't think that we have this reporting. Did you say, or did Senate Democrats discuss Graham Platner posting pictures of his, you called it his and did you discuss this in a lunch?
What I'm saying is that he has been sending sexually explicit kinds of messaging with women. And I assume over the 10 years that he was a membership in that, and I
okay, so you're assuming that that's what he was doing.
Okay. So anyway, almost like Cassie Hunt's coming to his defense. Well, we don't, all those sexually explicit pictures might not be those kind of pictures of the, of somebody's unit, of the twig and berries. Yeah. So that's the thing. When you send texts and they're sexually explicit, there is a 99.4% chance that your unit is probably, as a male, going to be included in that. I have never done this. I swear on my kids, my dogs, my 5 fish, everything. I don't understand it. Plus, I'm half Irish, so why would I do that? But the point is, here's Clay Travis way back when, making Brooke Baldwin, who's no longer with the network, very uncomfortable because he says a certain B word on her show. It's not the one that you think. Cut number 13, go.
I believe in only two things completely: the First Amendment and boobs.
Boobs. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly as a woman anchoring the show. What did you say? BWBS?
I just want to say that again.
Boobs. Two things that have only never let me down in this entire country's history: the First Amendment and boobs.
B-O-O-B-E?
As in boobs.
Boobs.
Or B-O-O-B-esque.
I just want to say that again.
Boobs and the First Amendment, which is exactly what I said.
Thank you to, let's see, it's Beavis and Butthead. So I believe Butthead's the blonde, Elias, right? Yeah. No, it's Beavis is the blonde. Yeah, Beavis. Thank you, Beavis, for your contributions during that clip. Yeah, so that's what Clay said. That's one of two things that makes him very happy in this world. And Brooke Baldwin had wanted clarification like 4 different times. So it's one of my favorite clips like ever. Meanwhile, James Carville, from like a very dark place in his house, puts out these daily videos, basically, talking about how he hoped Trump doesn't die immediately. He wants to see him suffer first, like really weird, dark stuff. And again, this guy was part of a campaign, Bill Clinton, 1992. Clinton wins with 43% of the vote because Ross Perot took 20% of the vote and probably took enough votes from George H.W. Bush from him winning again. Even if that's not the case, the point is that because Carville said something along the lines of the way you win an election is the economy stupid. It's the economy stupid. Somehow this guy has been portrayed as a genius ever since. I have a feeling that Clinton would have won without him. right? It's like David Axelrod with Obama, all these people that ride coattails of candidates that would have won, regardless of the strong advice from a guy like James Carville. Run on the economy. Oh, wow, that's an epiphany. Every election comes down the economy. So here's Jay Tapper, of course, gives Carville a national platform because Tapper, wants those ratings, being a distant third place in his 5 o'clock show. That's certainly for sure. Fox has 6 times the audience that he does at 5 p.m. Just putting that out there for all the people that think Jake Tapper's like this ratings hero. Nope, not even close. But Tapper does ask Carville, hey, would you be as forgiving to Graham Platner, who you really, really want to win in Maine, if he was a Republican? And Carville actually gives up the game here. Cut 14, go.
But what would you say to a Republican who says, James, if there was a Republican combat veteran who had a Nazi tattoo, a Totenkopf tattoo, you wouldn't be so forgiving? What would you say to that?
It's true. I would say you're exactly right. If that person was a 4-time combat veteran.
All right, Elias, we're good. It's true. Yeah, I would be a complete hypocrite. Why do we even listen to this person? Stop putting him on the air. Meanwhile, I think we have this cut, Elias. It's of a Maine voter who says she's going to vote for Graham Platner anyway because she thinks the media is being unfair to him because they're actually looking into his character and what he has done in his personal life. Not like where he shops or if he got a parking ticket sometime, but all the things that we've talked about earlier. And she makes a very interesting argument here in cut number whatever. Go.
The best candidate by far, and probing into the minutia of his personal relationships when you don't do that for any other candidate is ridiculous.
Is there anything that would change your mind at this point?
Absolutely not.
The minutia of his personal life? No, he abused women physically. He was on predatory sites that tried to attract children. That's far beyond the minutia. And oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure that the media has been looking into the personal lives of candidates for many, many, many years. Let's do a little flashback here to 1987. And a guy named Gary Hart, cut number 16, go.
Gary Hart officially dropped out of the race today. He made a statement. He took no questions.
Today, former Colorado Senator Gary Hart quit the Democratic race for president in the face of a media frenzy.
Now, clearly, under present circumstances, this campaign cannot go on.
Well, there you go. So I'm pretty sure, Maine voter, this has been going on for some time. And Gary Hart, what he did back then, he's probably watching all this now saying, oh, come on. I had to drop out because I was with Donna Rice on a boat. Yeah, I had an affair. Sue me. After that, yeah, Clinton, right? I mean, and down the line, no one cares about that stuff anymore. I completely agree. It's when you go into the whole abuse part, violence part, child predatory site part, Nazi tattoo part, where the personal life suddenly becomes a very, very big deal. Meanwhile, Graham Platner, speaking of, his personal views on things, is, again, this is in writing, all right? Not like he said, she said. Platner talking about how if somebody were to break into his home, he would rape them. But then he says, but not in a gay way. Well, if you're raping a guy, and it's not gay, I don't even know what to do with this. But Dave Rubin, who's quite good, here he is on Gutfeld, talking about this rather interesting perspective from Graham Platner. Cut number 19, go.
What if all of these things were in reverse? Like you found out about his behavior first and the Nazi symbol last. He would be out. But the Nazi symbol came first. And so they accepted it.
Yeah, Jews are getting hit every which way right now. I'm less concerned about the Nazi thing. I'm more hung up on this thing where if the guy broke into his house, that he was going to rape him, but not in a gay way.
Yes.
Because there are clubs you have to pay people to do that to you in Chelsea.
Yeah, that's true. I used to work in Chelsea. And I didn't frequent those sort of clubs. There's a great Chinese place called Lin's, however, on 23rd Street, which is phenomenal. I hope it's still there. That was a couple of years ago. Let's face it, it was 25 years ago. So hopefully Lin's is still there. But if you're on 23rd and you're listening, check it out. Best spare ribs in the city. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. We wrap this puppy up in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. It's It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
And welcome back, everybody. So, Vanilla Ice. Yes, we got to go back to 1990 for Ice Ice Baby. I understand that's 36 years ago, but he was one of the last performers to say that he would perform at the America 250 events, concerts going on, and everybody else, one by one, this is how the avalanche and the dam breaks. One person drops out, two, then everybody doesn't want to be the last one to drop out because they felt that it was too politicized, too MAGA-ized. Who the hell cares? It's America's birthday, 250. Celebrate that. Doesn't matter who's in the Oval Office at this time. But Vanilla Ice makes a good point that even if it is associated with Trump, well, honestly, if you want somebody throwing a party, who else would you call in this situation? Cut number 20, go.
Easy that all the attention is coming down on all this event and everything, because I'm honored and just super proud. My mom is proud, and everybody I know is like, this is awesome. And then there's some people that, that are bailing out and all this stuff. And I'm like, why? This would be the greatest concert on the planet. We're turning 250 years. Let's celebrate the country that we're born and raised in. What's wrong with being patriotic, And they said, oh, because Trump's putting it on. I'm like, so? Who throws a better party than Trump, man? I've been to a lot of them. That guy knows how to throw a real party, and they're classy, they're great, they're fun, and just over the top and amazing. So I'm like, even better.
Yeah, I was at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's Eve a year and a half ago. Trust me, there are no, well, we should cut here, do that. I mean, you want to talk about a party. The guy knows how to throw a party and has been doing it for 5 decades. So instead, they'll have a whole bunch of rallies, and America will celebrate as we were. I'll share with you this poll that came out. 18% of Democrats are proud to be an American. 18. That's less than 1 in 5. 7 in 10 Republicans are proud to be Americans. Less than 1 in 5 Democrats. Talk about miserable people. You live in the greatest country in the world, the wealthiest country in the world. You never had it better. And all of you are spoiled and just think that the government and the system is what's keeping you down. No, you're keeping you down. Get your face out of your phones, get a job or 4 like I have, and appreciate what you have, that you were born into this country. What horrible. I mean, just that perspective. Anyway, Archie Bunker, back during another era in this country. We talked about before how California is a complete wreck now at this point, where Spencer Pratt and maybe even Steve Hilton will not advance to the general election because all these mail-in ballots are magically going towards the people that need them. And it's going to take 5 weeks. The World Cup in its entirety will take a shorter period of time than it will to determine who won the LA mayor's race and who won the California gubernatorial race. Just put that in perspective for a moment. And as I said, Florida, hey, by 11 p.m., 10 p.m., you got your results. 1 million more votes are cast. They could do it. California, we'll need 5 to 6 weeks. It's corrupt and it's wrong. Anyway, here's Archie Bunker on California. And this is what he thought way back when in 1973. Cut number 21, go.
I mean, nobody normal thinks about going out to California. I mean, that's the land of fruits and nuts. And every fruit's a little nutty, and every nut's a little fruity.
Not much has changed. Meanwhile, here's Graham Platner, the aforementioned. He goes full Kamala here with a word salad that reminds us of the Coconut Queen, certainly. Cut number 22, go.
This time it needs to be a different kind of freedom. Not merely a romantic freedom of individual rights, but a freedom that is real.
Right.
That is material. The freedom to have time.
Time.
To have energy.
Okay. Great. I don't know what he just said. I'm not sure he knows what he just said. Anyway, before we leave you, here's a flashback, of course, to the aforementioned Coconut Queen, Kamala Harris, and word salad when word salads were a thing that, well, I guess Graham Platner kind of adored and decided to copy. Cut number 23, go.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time.
Yeah, sure.
Right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Imagine that, running her again. a third time. And it's only going to get worse, much worse, believe me. This is Joe Concha. This has been a great Sunday morning show, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. We're back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on WABC and on stations around the country and now around the world. Until then, I got 2 words for you. Bye-bye.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.